Well, hello again, YouTube. This is Grace. I just wanted to do a quick intro for the dress that I spoke of, the one that I'm wearing, because the video is, I have over 2 hours worth of footage that I'm trying to chop down to make it a decent length video so you're not staring at it for a long time. Because it is how to pattern, especially since the skirt is rather unique. It is a 5-sided shape that is all straight angles rather than curves and all that other stuff. Requires a little bit of math, but it is nothing too complicated. And the bodice is all based off of a block. I show one pattern that you can use to start and tweak and get your own block from, but there are plenty out there. The Closet Historian, who I will mention time and time again, just put out a couple great videos on blocks, and I recommend her highly. Please check her out, and I will link her in the description. And besides that, let's get started since it is going to be a long video. Thank you. I'm actually pretty new at designing, so you'll be learning right along with me on a lot of this. I started with this pattern right here. It's Butterick 6515, and it has on the back, it's kind of hard to see, but the bodice has 2 darts, and then there's an A-line or a pencil skirt that you can modify all of this pretty easy and make designs. From there, I have mocked up a design at least 5 times until something really fit me and I was really happy. That is where we get to this right here, which is the same thing. It's 2 darts. It just fits me a little bit better than what came in the design. And that is what we're going to start with to make the dress today. Now, the first step is this has 2 darts and we only need 1. So what I'm going to do is from this dart leg here to the center here, which is the apex, I'm going to draw a line. And then I'm going to do the same down to here. From the apex down to the end of the dart leg. Just like that. Next, we cut. We cut along the line we just drew, going all the way up to that apex, but not all the way, just almost there. Same with this other one. Stopping right there. Alright, now this can swing whichever way we want it to. And we want to get rid of this dart here, so this leg right here is what we can cover up by swinging this over like that. That one we tape up all the way. Then this one we don't need to tape up all of the way because we're not using all of the bodice. Because this is ends just at the underbust. So I'm going to use my handy dandy ruler that has a nice 1/2 inch thing for my seam allowance. And I'm going to draw that in. Like that. And then we cut. Kind of cool, gives us the perfect piece for the next step. So next is the neckline. It's a V-neck. So I'm going in 1 inch from the shoulder. Here's the neck, going in 1 inch. And then from the bottom of the neckline here, this is where the numbers on the ruler are a little harder because they're backwards. Going down 4 inches to right there. And then this extra piece of paper, I'm gonna tape starting at that 4-inch mark here we just made. On down. Then this ruler, nice and long enough. Get it in frame here. So from the 1-inch line at the top of the shoulder there, to the 4-inch line down here, all the way down. Just bring those 2 points meet and bring it down. And there you go. Last, go here and just follow this line until they meet there. Got a little bit of loose stuff going on here. Just cut that up. Alright, got that far. Now the last step on the front is take another piece of paper, go along here, because whether you're using a trim or in this case you're sewing the 2 layers together, the fashion layer and the lining. But since you're sewing them together, you're going to need a seam allowance on this long edge here to finish that out. So then we just cut that out. And there is the front of the bodice. Now, for the back, these are a little more simple. in that you just need to get the neck right. So we line up the edge, minus the seam allowance. Line those two up. Except for I want to take it out of the neck, not the arm side. So right there. So what I meant there was I had it lined up and it would have taken it out of the arm, which would make it a little harder for sleeves. So I want to take it out of the neck, and that way gives a little more neck room. This is a lighter dress anyway. So now we're just gonna even this out into a nice shape like that. Could have pulled out my curve for that, but I'll just kind of just a quick gentle shape. Next, the back is you cut on the fold rather than this is to put a zipper in the back of a dress, so we don't need the seam allowance that's on this pattern. Then we don't need, almost made a new piece there. I'm going to put in a seam allowance on that. Take that back together. So now that we have everything grafted, we're going to need, for the bodice, we're going to need to grab a couple measurements. The first one is the length of the total of the bottom of the bodice. So I just take my tape, go from the bottom over here to, this is the first dart leg, scoot it over to here, and then I end a half inch before the edge here. There's that mark for the seam allowance, and then I grab the back, holding here at 13 inches is that front of the bodice. Here, here, and I get 23 1/4. So I mark that measurement down. That's the first one. Next measurement, we're going to need our underbust to the top of our knee, which I get 22 inches. And underbust to the bottom, get about 24. It's a little less, but 24 is good. So those are the measurements that we need. What we're going to do with those measurements, the first one is Gonna take that 23 inches, and first thing we're gonna do is subtract 1 inch. And one more thing with that measurement, we're going to divide that by 2 and get 11 1/8. Second, on this, the second one we did, the below our knee length, we're going to add an inch. It's sort of like here we took away a seam allowance. Here we're going to add a seam allowance. This is because this is the bottom of the dress. We need to add that for the top of the dress to for the seam line at the top of the dress and for the seam at the bottom. So we're going to add, actually I add 2 inches. I seem to like it at 20, I like it at 26 inches for that measurement. So this one's a little more adjustable, definitely how long you want it, your dress to be. If you want it a little longer, you can make it a little longer. If you want a little shorter, you can make it a little shorter. This is just the length of the dress for you. And you may want to lengthen this. You'll definitely want to lengthen this one too, because otherwise the proportions will be off. So the first step in drafting the dress is to do the length at the top and draw a line. Then you're going to do the length of the dress, and you're going to draw that on both sides. And then take it across the bottom. Then you're going to take this half measurement and take it out this way. And then you're going to take from this point to the corner up at the top and draw a line. This is your back seam. For the front, you're going to go out 1 inch, or 1 foot 12 inches. And then you're just going to draw a line up. Doesn't have to go all the way. And you're going to take this second measurement that to your top of your knee. You're going to take your ruler and go to this top corner. Set it right here, and then you're going to swing your ruler until it meets that line at where this measurement, where your ruler says your top measurement, and it meets this 12-inch line, and you're going to draw that. Next, you're going to take 10 inches, so 12 here, and then you're going to take the measurement 10 inches, and you're going to take that, and you're going to again swing the ruler from where your top of the knee measurement met the 12-inch line, and you're going to swing it until the 10-inch, and you're going to draw there, and then you have the whole skirt. So you have three measurements that you do a little bit of extra to, and then you're able to draft the whole skirt pretty quickly. And so it's not a lot of complicated drafting. That's why I was able to do it. Works really well, and hopefully will work out very well for you guys. So that's it on this skirt. We can get cutting out and get going. We'll get to cutting. My least favorite part. Do my best to not massacre it. Start with the back, because that's the easy one. It's just on the fold. Line it up. And just cut it out. Okay, there we go. Just need one back. Okay. We actually need 4 of the front. Let's see if we can get one of them on this side. I'm not sure. So I have 3 yards of fabric. That's usually what it takes for me to make a basic dress. Especially if I'm going to add sleeves. Need one more of the front. Well, 2 more of the front. Now, after a lot of prep, we're ready to sew. I cut 2 strips, salvage to salvage, 4 inches wide, and a matching strip, a length but only 2 inches wide for each of those strips. So two strips the same length, 2 inches wide. Then I marked the darts on all the pieces and pinned them so we're all ready to sew. This is my Singer 221 that I inherited from my grandmother when she passed away. It wasn't working for a while there, and I got it after giving it some oil and cleaning it up. It has worked very nicely. So if the job is just a straight stitch, I really like to use this rather than one of the newer machines that I have. There we are. Kind of nice about the old machines, besides all the parts being metal and you can service the machine yourself, is it's pretty easy to wind and thread everything up. Let's start. So these long strips are for the ties. I like really long ties, gives me enough room to tie a nice bow. Oops, there we go. So I'm self-taught on how to sew. Actually, it was before the age of, it was the age of dial-up internet, so it was actually a book, and it was this machine. I just picked it up and did my best to try and learn how to, and I think it really worked out. I've made some quilts, a lot of dresses, and I've just had fun. And I've made plenty of mistakes and fit issues, but all in all, it's been an adventure. Guess I'm saying I dove into it, and all those mistakes were worth it, because then I got to a point where I can at least feel confident enough to sew something that I can wear outside of the house. Now there's a lot of different ways to turn something, but we've got to turn these straps. So I'm just gonna sew a little cord to an end that I was gonna cut off anyway. The strap, and then I've got a bobby pin on the other side. I'm just gonna stick it in and work it through. Get to the other end. These straps are long, but they have to wrap around my body all the way and then have enough room to be able to tie. Salvage to salvage is enough for me. Some people that could be too long and you need to trim it down. Other people might not be long enough and you can add a little bit of fabric in order to make the straps long enough. So once you get to the end, once you've got it all turned out, you can just trim that little strap off and you've got the first part of it done. I'll do the other one off camera later. The last thing I have to sew here is the darts. So we can talk about the front of the bodice because it is a little different because there's the 4 pieces. You only sew the dart on 2 of them. One on each side, so facing the opposite directions. So one left and one right. So here and here. So you would only sew 1 dart on each side, and then you mark with a pin the other 2, and then you'll put gathering stitches in those. Show you that. I'm just sewing up a dart. Give that a tie. There. That's the first one. What's the second one? I'm just tying up the darts after I sew them. The back has 2 really small ones. Oop. Last dart. Last thing we can do right now. So there's one more thing to sew. I marked the legs of the pins on the bodice, and what I'm going to do is go 1/2 inch away from the pin, and on my largest stitch length, I'm actually going to back stitch on this side. Sew to the next pin, and go 1/2 inch further. And then pull out with some extra thread. Then I'm going to go about 1/8 of an inch in from the last one and do that again. This one got a little close. Yeah, I think it's time for a service. A lot of strange things. Then I just pull these and slide it along together. We're gathering it up. To match the seam on the darted bodice. So that needs a little bit more. I thought I was recording that, but I already put one bodice together, thinking I was recording, but I will show you how the other goes together. So you measure the width of the strap, and you can definitely do this by a sewing machine. You do not need to use a serger for it. I'm just doing that because I know I can put a little wear and tear on this, so that extra stitch could help. So we're going to do the 2 inches, the strap width, and I've got the right sides together of the bodice. Now I do. And just sew them up. There's that. And I just turn it around. Get that right. Can you give it a little finger press? I'm just figuring out where the darts are. Is the wrong side, of course. And then on the bodice, you've got the dart on one side and the gathers on the other. The gathers is the right side. That's the side that's going to face out. And so I want it to end up like this. So I'm just trying to make sure that I sew everything correctly. Double, triple, quadruple check myself, because I've made plenty of mistakes. I still make a lot of mistakes. Learning opportunities. Gotta remember which button's which. And number 4. There you go. It's almost like warp speed. This machine can go so fast. Alright. The bodice is almost together. Just on these straps. I'm gonna tuck in these ends. And then have that seam down, insert it in like that. I'm tucking it in about an inch. Just do a stitch, top stitch. Okay. Then the sleeves on. Getting to the final big thing to sew, the skirt. Wrong one.